This is lesson 8.2, problem solving using multiplication. We're going to be dividing a whole number by a fraction, but we are going to be using multiplication to solve that problem. Again, at any time, if you need to stop the recording to copy the notes, please do so. The first problem we're looking at is Erica makes 6 submarine sandwiches and cuts each of the sandwich into thirds. How many 1/3 size sandwich pieces does she have? So we need to start out with whatever the whole number is in this case. What she's starting with is the 6 submarine sandwiches. That will be our dividend. And we are going to be cutting that into thirds. So the actual division problem that we are going to be solving is 6 divided by 1/3. The information that we are going to need to find is the number of 1/3 size sandwich pieces Erica has after she cuts the 6 sandwiches. Thinking about this again will help you to decide which number is going to be the dividend, or the one that's getting split up. The information that we need to use, I need to know or use the size of each piece of sandwich, and we also need to know the total number of sandwiches that she's going to cut. The strategy that we are using in this lesson is called draw a diagram, and that will help us organize the information, really help us decide which number is going to be the dividend, and then I can use that information to find the answer. On the other side of the paper, they've already got most of the model drawn for us, so we are going to use 6 rectangles in this case to represent each of the 6 submarine sandwiches, and then we divide each of those 6 into 3 pieces to represent the 1/3 size piece that she's cutting out of each sandwich. To find the total number of thirds in the rectangles, again, here's our problem we're actually solving, 6 divided by 1/3, but we're going to use multiplication to answer this question. We know we have a total of 6 sandwiches, and we know each sandwich is cut into 3 pieces. So we can say 6 times 3 will give us the total number of pieces. Remember, when we are taking a whole number and dividing it by a fraction, our quotient is larger than our dividend. We have more pieces than we started out with. So the final answer is Erica has 18 1/3 size sandwich pieces. Notice they spelled out 1/3 in the label because they did not want it to make it look like a mixed number and write 18 1/3 size. So if in your fraction, or I'm sorry, in your label, you have a fraction, you need to spell that fraction out. Just flip the page over. We have an example of Roberto cutting 3 blueberry pies into halves to give to his neighbors. How many neighbors will get the 1/2 pie piece? Again, what we need to find is the number of neighbors that will get the half-size pie piece. The information that we're going to use is the size of each piece of pie, and the total number of pies Roberto has. And again, in this lesson, how we'll use this information is to draw a diagram. From there, we will organize the information, decide what needs to be the dividend, and use multiplication to solve the problem. All right, so we know we have 3 pies, and he is cutting them into halves. So for a model, we need to draw 3 pies, 3 circles, could be squares too. We're going to cut each of those pies in half. So our division problem is what we started with, the 3 pies divided by how many pieces or what we did to it, we cut it in half. Then to solve our problem, we're going to take how many we started with, our total models, and now we have each pie has 2 pieces. We're going to multiply it by 2, and we come up with a total of 6 pieces. Now the question actually asks, though, how many neighbors will get a half piece of pie, a half size piece of pie. So our label will be 6 neighbors. Okay. On the Sharon Show, we have a chef that has 5 blocks of butter. Each block weighs 1 pound. She cuts each block into fourths. How many 1/4 pound pieces of butter does the chef have? So in this case, we're going to look through. We have a 5, we have a 1, and we have a fourth, or 1/4. So we have to decide what we need to draw for our model. Okay. In this case, the chef is cutting 5 blocks of butter. So we're going to draw 5 blocks. And we know that she is cutting each of these blocks into fourths. To get our division problem, we start, the dividend is how many models we drew. The divisor is the amount one block has, or one model has. So we cut that into fourths. To use the multiplication, we're going to take our 5 models, we're going to multiply by the number of pieces in each block, and we multiply 5 times 4 to get 20, and in this case our label would be 20, I guess it's down here, 20 1/4 pound pieces of butter.